Presented by That Time I Got Reincarnated in the same world as an anime podcaster, this is Shonen Jumping the Gun, the show where we set our sights on the first chapter of a manga and decide if it's a misfire or a bullseye.
Let's see how many rounds are in this magazine.
Our next episode is scheduled for one chapter, Ultimate Muscle!
Coming up next, only on the Foxbox.
Welcome, everybody. I am the master of the Rollin' DDT, Moxie the Yeen, here with the SJTG Heavyweight Champion of the World, Isekai Sensei-Sama Brad. Brad, how you doing?
Oh, damn. Let me see.
You're very much out of your element with this, but I'm very much in it.
No, I need to cut a promo.
Cut a promotion.
What are you gonna do, brother?
That racist in fucking hell now, brother.
Isekai Sensei-Sama's gonna run a train on you.
Word choice, friend.
A one-person train.
Word choice. Phrasing.
Choo-choo, motherfucker.
There we go. Welcome, everybody.
I probably have to bleep that.
To a wonderfully stupid new arc for a wonderfully stupid new year. Welcome to the Foxbox arc. And if you don't know what that is, probably
you're not old enough.
You're not old enough, or maybe you weren't or you're not an American, which also describes some of our fan base.
Or both.
Or both. So the Foxbox was an old late 90s, early 2000s animation block that played on Fox on Saturday mornings and is notorious for being the home of a lot of the 4Kids dubs.
Yeah.
I grew up with a lot of these and have a weird soft spot for it. So this whole arc is an interesting gimmick where we are going to read the first chapter of the manga, then go watch the first episode of the 4Kids dubbed American release of it, and then come back and talk more about what we've witnessed and compare the two. So, if you heard and knew what my hint was from last time, it turns out, I guess first off, that was from the anime Fighting Foodons. I think the actual Japanese name is Battle Bistro. It was something Bistro.
Wait,
I don't
what?
remember. What?
Hold on, go back.
I'm describing what was supposed to be because I left a hint at the end of last episode. That wasn't JoJo, sorry. The one before JoJo. I think Ghost Time Paradox Ghostwriter.
You left a hint, but it was completely bleeped.
You bleeped my hint? That episode hasn't come out yet.
Oh, no, wait. That was at the end of the retrospective.
Yes, correct. Don't bleep it.
At the end of the retrospective, it's completely bleeped.
Yes, don't bleep my thing at the end of Ghostwriter, which hasn't come out yet.
I don't remember that at all.
But we can talk about it. So I made allusions to Fighting Foodons, the intro, and I'm like, oh, I'd love to go watch it because I remember the intro a lot, and we're gonna watch it for a bonus episode, but there's a manga for it. Nobody's ever fan translated it. We can't find it. We can find some scans of the first couple chapters, but they're all in Japanese, which we can't read. And Brad even attempted to put it through the translation machine, and A, I didn't want to do that kind of, and B, the machine exploded. So it was just like, okay, we got to tag into something else. So also, very fitting for the Foxbox arc, the wheels are already coming off. And then they came off more for us covering Ultimate Well, let me get through what... Oh, no, let me get through what we're doing, and then I'll get into what happened then.
Okay.
So today we are reading Ultimate Muscle. So we're reading a sequel series today. The original is Kinnikuman, literally Muscle Man, by the duo Toshinori Nakai and Takashi Shimada that ran in Weekly Shonen Jump from 1979 to 1987. But then seemingly it restarted in 2011 in Shueisha's web magazine Shoe Play News, which I've never heard about, and I don't know anything about that. So it made it hard to figure out how many chapters or volumes came out. But Kinnikuman is like one of the biggest manga of all time. Like what? I think even just like, I guess literally now last year we got like an anime season of Kinnikuman.
Wait,
some specific
so
arc.
the original one restarted in 2011.
But not Ultimate Muscle. Ultimate Muscle is a sequel series, but it just kept... I don't know. I was really confused because I'd never heard of that.
So there's a series that comes out, and then they end it, and then they start the sequel series.
Yes.
And then that ends. And then they went back to the original?
I'm not even done being confusing. So yeah, and also, I don't think anything of this new one, the original one, has ever been officially released in the West. The most we've gotten is Ultimate Muscle, and I think we've got... I think they were in America, I don't know when. They were the Muscle Men toys, which were these little rubber guys. They came in essentially like gotcha machine things. They're very, like, collect them all, and they were just kind of weird. I don't think they were painted. They were just little rubber guys. I had a bunch of them back in the day when I was into this when I was younger. So... today, we're specifically covering Ultimate Muscle, or Kinnikuman the Second Generation, done by the same pair, which ran from 1998 to 2004 in Weekly Playboy, which is not affiliated with the American Penthouse you're probably thinking of right now. So as stated, why we're here for this arc is the anime, which originally ran in Japan across 2002, but was then licensed to 4Kids Entertainment and broadcast on the Fox Box around the same time, and was popular enough that 13 more episodes were ordered specifically for the Western audience on Fox Box in 2004. So, okay, confusing. And then on top of that, so our situation was weird because there is a 5-chapter prologue that we found this on the decks of manga, but is specifically in the manga listed as a prologue. So there's 5 of those, but then there's an actual chapter 1. And the actual chapter 1 starts with a more of an intro about the situation of what's going on, but then is putting you in the middle of things that the first 5 prologue chapters already set you up for, and making this even more confusing for my research, and we'll be able to talk about it more once we watched it. The first episode just completely does things out of order. It has things happening that haven't happened yet in both the prologue and like the first 2 chapters proper. So I feel like this is a very fitting intro for the Fox Box, that it's just already turned to like a weird clown shoe thing, which admittedly for Kinnikuman and Ultimate Muscle feels fitting.
So the thing where the TV show changes some things around from the source material, be it a book or a comic or whatever.
Yes.
That hasn't gone away completely, but it seems like they do that less and less anymore. Yeah. And it used to be that they did that just all the time, and no one cared.
Or
like
they did,
the people making the shows did not care.
And I'm pretty sure, I'm not 100%, but I made sure to check if I could find it, and I think I did, the Japanese first episode, because 4Kids is notorious for editing things down, like editing things out, cutting things out. Like entire arcs of the run of One Piece are just gone. I think they like skipped Little Garden or something. So I'm like very hyper aware of like their mixing and matching. Let me go find the Japanese one. But the Japanese one did the same thing. So I was just like, okay, sure. More things before I get to the summary is that I wanted to talk about like Kinnikuman's popularity. Kinnikuman originally was a gag manga that then became a manga about pro wrestling, and that's when it really took off. And when I think about that and say that out loud, is that not Dragon Ball? Like Dragon Ball was ostensibly a funny thing and then became one, like, sure there was fights, but it became something about martial arts then later on in the original Dragon Ball run, and I feel like that's when it really started picking up.
Maybe less so.
And it's from very much the same era. What do you mean?
I know what you mean. I mean, Dragon Ball started off with an idea of Journey to the West.
Yes, but it didn't, I don't think...
It became more serious.
It became more...
But it was always...
martial arts specifically when you start getting...
Yeah,
but like just... It's just interesting of like these two things from around-ish the same time, both with big popularity, but the difference is one of these we got in the West and one of these we didn't really.
You know what's... I think maybe the craziest thing here? The fact that this was made as a children's show, because as you mentioned, like the original, well, no, not the original one.
The original one, Kinnikuman ran in Shonen Jump.
Right. What was the, where did you put
What are you looking for?
The thing about being in, Weekly Playboy.
Yeah.
There is, and you might not have seen this because.
Oh, no, I saw it.
Oh, okay.
I looked. Yeah. This is a raunchy manga, as the original was.
Yeah.
But also, from what I understood, the prologue chapters did not come out in America. I don't even know if... I'm sure I think there was an Ultimate Muscle manga that was released in the West, because there's cover art for it. But the prologue chapters don't have that. But all of them on Manga Dex are listed as scans from the now unlicensed... Like, the license has lapsed of the Viz's Ultimate Muscle license in the West.
Yeah.
But I don't think those original 5 prologue chapters ever came out in the West.
And I think we're probably going to see this again, but this is the thing where it's like you have executives that go, oh, look, these guys look funny. This is a kid's thing. Put that up there.
But it was, because Shonen, original Kinnikuman ran in Weekly Shonen Jump.
Original Weekly Shonen Jump, I think, was a lot more...
I don't know if the 4 Kids edit has cut that particular thing out. And it probably did, but I don't know if the original Japanese manga or anime had it or not. I didn't look. We didn't get that far. So let me go through the summary first.
Okay.
Somewhere of this mess, this is at least something. In days of old, many evil chojin. That's how you know the original set was them specifically trying to, didn't have the Ultimate Muscle verbiage, so they called them chojin, which is what they called them originally in Kinnikuman in fan translation. Roughly translates to superhumans.
Is that what that is?
What?
Because I know Chojin X.
It's superhumans. I looked it up then, because I'm like, I feel like I've run into this before. So yeah, Superhuman X. Weapon X.
Except they're aliens. They're not humans.
Some of them are humans, sort of, kind of. It's weird.
Yeah. Don't
think too hard. There's a lot of interesting ones. In days of old, many evil chojin tried to conquer Earth, but the Justice Chojin rose up to save humanity in fair martial arts competitions. Among them was the great Kinnikuman, Suguru, who, using his fire of inner strength, defeated many opponents. When the war was won, the heroes returned to their homes to rest, while Kinnikuman returned to his home of Planet Muscle.
And became king.
Yes.
Except there's also his dad is the emperor.
He's the old king.
I don't know how their power structure works.
Don't think about it. Not important. Remember, gag manga at heart, somewhere in there. I think when I was trying to look up the duo, I think they're a man's-eye duo. They're a comedy duo at the very least. They have done stage comedy, from what little I looked into. We jump 28 years to the future to Planet Muscle at Muscleham Palace, where an aging King Kinnikuman tries to use his signature move, the Kinniku Buster, in a practice match, but fails due to his frail, aging, 54-year-old body. So many of the wrestlers now are in their 50s and are, incredible still.
I was, when they started
Not when
going
this
through
was
that,
written.
I literally did the math because they were 28 years later, and then they might have said exactly how old he was, but then they were we had our son in...
I have everybody's ages because when everybody shows up in the family, they tell us how old they are.
Because he was I did that in my early 20s or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was at most he's 57.
Yeah.
And there's no way a 57-year-old has to be that frail.
I mean, dude, wrestling, that's the thing. Before people, even still now, but definitely then, it's wrestlers aged very ungracefully because they had wrestling is already a hard lifestyle, and then they just generally made it worse with all the drugs they were constantly taking. So, that's why it's wrestlers also just bounds in medical sports science and stuff.
And you could say, he got out of practice because he was the king and everything, but it's it's showing him trying to do stuff.
It shows
so
that
obviously,
he looks like an ancient, I say ancient, but he looks like he's in his 70s and the 80s. But that's why I said he's in his 50s. I'm Japan never changed.
It's he wanted to wrestle and stuff, so I think he was keeping up with his exercise. Right?
I think they make a point that he's in a muscle suit. He's take him out of the muscle suit because he looks like he used to. He looks real good. His wife comes out and a comedy manga bit happens as they point out he's not a young spry stallion anymore, just a bony old man. His 100-year-old grandfather Mayumi comes out to show him on a TV that
that's his dad.
Oh, sorry, grandfather to Ultimate Muscle,
yes.
Kid Muscle, who we will get to. Sorry, I'm thinking via his viewpoint, but you were correct. King Kinnikuman's father, Mayumi, comes out to show him on TV that the evil chojin have once again attacking Earth. Even if he is frail in age, Suguru must once again leave for Earth to fight the menace. But at that moment, his 14-year-old son, Mantaro, the prince, is leaving the palace. He's cagey at first about where he's going, but finally says he's going to talk to his mentor, who's got way more interesting lessons than school has.
By the way...
And also there's a big pun thing about Ultraman that I'm just I don't want to write that.
Honestly, I thought it was really good.
Okay.
It shouldn't be in the summary. It doesn't matter at all, but it was pretty funny.
Yeah.
I just wanted to point
his name
that
is a pun, and he's that's stupid.
Yeah.
Don't call me that. Don't deadman me, Dad. Before leaving, his father passionately points at the television as the evil chojin defeat all of Kinnikuman's old friends one by one. The Earth is in need and help, Mantaro. You must use your powers to help them. But the boy doesn't care. He has nothing to do with them or Earth. He's never studied martial arts, and fighting just sounds barbaric. He wants to be a scientist or a lawyer. One of his friends on Earth, this being Kinnikuman's friends, Terry Man, based off of Terry Funk, great wrestler, R.I.P. Terry Funk, Terryman calls and cuts a passionate promo how they all got beat because they lived in peace. The next generation never got trained to fight while the evil Chojin trained relentlessly. But your son, he has your power. He can do it, right? Ooh. The baddies then find Terryman and learn of Kid Muscle and say they will come to crush him. We cut away to where Mantaro has wandered off, a strange cave in the mountains with a wise-looking man inside. He is Mantaro's mentor, frustrated with him about him fighting with his parents, but happy to be brought his favorite cup noodles. This man has been teaching and training Mantaro for months now, and while he is an idiot, Mantaro, that is being the idiot, he is improving. We're told by the mysterious man that Mantaro has mastered the physical training in 2 weeks, which would take a normal experienced fighter at least 6 months. He has the fire of inner strength, just like his father.
It's so funny because
those.
he's like, Mantaro is like obsessed with being good academically.
Yeah, but he's
even
also
though he's
not.
obviously
he's like
an idiot.
Because I think the guy asked, it's like, how'd you do on your physics exam? He's like, well, I got a 25. He's like, what the heck? And he's like, well, I had a 0 before, so that's a big improvement.
And yet he is obviously physically gifted.
Yes. I mean, also they make a point when he's leaving, the parents are like, oh man, he was so cute. We coddled him way too much. Yeah. At that moment, the evil Chojin, Bone Killer, from the television crashes in from above, vowing to destroy this new generation of fighters. He uses his super move, Bone Crusher Cross, where he literally like shoots a metal cross he has on his chest out. This is Kinnikuman for you. But the mysterious mentor takes the fatal-looking blow. We learn he is one of the old Justice Chojin, Ramen Man, and that long ago he fought against Mantaro's father as an evil Chojin. But Kinnikuman turned him to the side of justice. And what seems like his last breath, he asked Kid Muscle to protect Earth as he had trained him to do.
I bet that would have been like really powerful if we had read the original series, and we would have been like, "Oh my god, that's the Chinese guy."
I knew that was Ramen Man because I had read back in the day. I read a bunch of Kinnikuman, but also just knowing Ultimate Muscle and playing the video games relentlessly. Which I didn't know this. We'll get there. in after this initial part. Bone Killer goes in to finish the job, but Mantaro hooks up with his fire of inner strength at the emotion of the situation, just like his father. He dodges Bone Killer's attack and gets him up for his father's signature move, the Kinniku Buster. His impact leaves a crater and leaves the defeated Bone Killer on the floor. End of chapter 1. End of chapter 1 of the prologue.
End of chapter 0.1.
At least how Mangadex says it, but it's called the prologue. It's confusing.
And so Moxie said to me, "Hey, don't read chapter 1. Read the prologue." And so I read 5 chapters.
I first told you to read chapter 1, going, okay. We probably won't, because we've seen other series with prologues, and it's usually they're things that have been added later. It's like the Jujutsu Kaisen 0 chapters. It's like you don't need to start with that. Start at 1. But in this case, 1 was in the middle of things, but I didn't know that until I looked at it and went, "What the heck is going on?" And then went back and was just like, oh, dang it. And then you read all the prologue. So what? I vaguely know. So what? That fight happens. He gets sent to a wrestling training planet in space.
Hercules planet.
No, it's still around.
No, it's literally the wrestling planet. It's the Hercules Academy.
Gotcha. And he's there, and a bunch of second generation monsters, some first one. Because I know Terry the kid there, just Terry Man's son, is there.
Yeah. Right. It's 200. Oh, this was the other thing. As we were going through that part, the numbers kept jumping around a lot because they were like, we're starting out with 100. We started out with 200. And it's just like, I don't know if this is a problem with the translation or if it was actually written that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, they cut them down to like 20.
I think some of them literally die.
Yeah, some of them are literally die from
okay, let me see if I can.
gauntlets.
I want to see if I can name. So what? Kid Muscle's there. Mantaro's there. I said Terry the Kid.
I know like 3 of them. So.
Do you know Wally Tuskett?
No.
The big walrus guy. He doesn't show up.
No.
He's a walrus. He doesn't show up.
He might have been there in the background, but he definitely wasn't named.
Maybe that's what he's in chapter 1. I guess proper chapter 1. Dick Van Dyke, the Gazelle Man.
No.
Is Jaeger there? Green helmet guy, kind of Nazi-ish.
I don't know.
Robin Mask?
I recognize that from a long time ago.
Or Kevin Mask, which I think is a play on Kevin Nash, actual wrestler, tall man Kevin Nash. I'm sure there's more. I think there's like a couple of your juniors that show up. There's like Special Man Junior and Manitoban, the North American and Canadian guys.
Basically, the only ones that I could not even name to you, but recognize.
Yeah.
So one of the original Justice Chojin, the knight guy.
Okay, that's
he's like
Robin Mask,
running
I think.
the school.
Correct. Yes.
Besides that, at the end of the thing, when there's 20 left, they're like, we're going to have a tournament now to select like the hand comes up out of the ground. They fight on
the fingers.
Right.
There's rings on each of the fingers, but not like a ring that you would wear, like a wrestling ring sits upon the pad of each finger.
So, the Terry the
Kid,
fights Ramen Man.
Okay, cool.
God, who was the other one? Because two of them went
Buffalo
first,
Man or something, like the guy with the horns.
Oh no! Somebody else fought Ramen Man, and Terry fought the guy with the horns.
Yeah.
And then Mantaro fought his dad.
Mantaro fights his dad. Yes, and chapter 1 leaves you directly after that fight, and that's when I was like, oh wait a minute, that's not right. So me and my weird patchy memory from watching this and other information, you haven't read the prologue. Where are you at, Brad? Also, you don't like wrestling. I love wrestling.
I would say
you are not affected by the spell of pro wrestling.
As a comedy manga,
yeah,
I didn't think it was bad.
Okay.
It didn't make me go, oh my God, I need to read all of this. But it didn't make me go, this is ridiculous and awful. It is ridiculous, but it's not awful.
Yeah.
There were a couple things that really stuck out to me. The sudden porn was one.
Yes. Did you know there is a at some point they made a lady spin-off version of it where it's just everybody's gender bent, but nobody's jacked, so it's lame.
For you.
What? It's lame. Full stop. That's coward work. Continue speaking.
Not everyone's into muscle ladies.
It's coward work. It's the same thing with people who can't step up to the beast fuckers. It's just like, you're a coward.
The other thing that I thought was interesting was the sci-fi elements of it.
Yes.
Where like they did really intricate work on like spaceships and stuff like that. And yet sometimes they show people just flying through space of their own power.
Because they're so strong, I guess.
And it's like, wait a minute.
Because it's like, how did Ramen Man get to Planet Muscle?
Which is it?
I didn't put it in the summary, but they make a point that he was one of the first Justice Chojin that got beat. And they all thought he died, but he's been this mysterious man up here. Which, if you read Kinnikuman, you can instantly go, oh yeah, that's Ramen Man. That's why. But it's like, how did he get? It's like,
so he was evil and he got converted.
Yes, that's why it's very Dragon Ball.
And then he immediately got beat again?
No. 28 years ago or whatever, when original Kinnikuman happened, when Suguru's there, he's fighting in a very Dragon Ball way. He fights a lot of them, and then they join the Justice Chojin.
Right.
So then they're all fighting various evil Chojin, and then finally they defeat all of them, and we get the Years of Peace. And then the new generation comes up, because the evil Chojin have been training underground this whole time, or wherever the fuck they are, as on top of that. We were told underground, but they also might just come from space too. And one of the first Justice Chojin they beat up is Ramen Man, and then he disappears, and everybody thinks he's dead. So that's why when you see him as Mantaro's mentor, you're just like, oh hey. But if you've never read any Kinnikuman, you don't know that that's Ramen Man instantly. To connect that dot.
Wait. So he gets defeated 28 years later, and then we go back and find out that he was the mentor?
If now times is when Montaro is now, when Montaro is a teenager, that's when Ramen Man got beat up by the new generation of evil Chojin. He was the first one to get beat up, and he disappeared. And I guess in that time...
Oh, in the prologue.
Yes.
By that one guy with the cross.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I guess he was also there, but all the evil Chojin beat up everybody on Earth in Mantaro time.
But Ramen Man didn't go to Earth. The bad guy came to Muscle Planet and beat him up.
28 years ago, Ramen Man was on Earth. He is from China because racism. There's a lot of it's wrestling and it's Ultimate Muscle. Everybody's very from the place they're from.
Okay.
So long ago, he used to be an evil guy,
Right.
28 years ago, and then Kinnikuman beat him, and he became a Justice Chojin and fought with Kinnikuman.
Yes.
Then 28 years pass.
Yes.
And then the evil Chojin come back to Earth from the depths. They've been training under the crust of the Earth, and they dig up out of the Earth. And the Justice Chojin of old are the only ones there to fight because all the kids haven't been training because we've had years of peace. And they beat everybody's asses, but they beat Ramen's man's ass first on Earth, and he disappears first, and somehow he gets to Muscle Planet, and that's where he's been hiding out as Mantaro's Mento for however long that's been.
Was that him?
In the cave?
I understand what you're saying now.
I'm really confused at your confusion. I feel smart, because normally you're telling me things and I go, oh yeah, that's super obvious now that you tell me that.
I did not pay enough attention to this.
Okay, that's fine. You read more manga than I did. I leafed through some of it to get an eye of things, to get a sense, to try to just go, how does this land up to this first episode I know that I've seen multiple times? So yes, well, Brad looks for that to confirm it. Look at it when somebody's like talking about what's happening on Earth now. And by now, I mean the 2000s. Or I guess the late 90s, because that's when this was written. I know the exact thing that you're referencing.
Yes. I just don't remember that it was that person.
Okay. I'm pretty sure it was Ramen Man. But like, what a good guy to do for the mentor guy, because he's got the beard for it and everything. And I like the whole thing of like Mentor brings him the cup noodles because he's Ramen Man. He loves cup noodles. And it's like, it's really silly, but it's fun.
He's fighting Terry Man.
He's not fighting Terry Man. He's fighting with Terry Man.
No, when the evil guys come back.
Okay,
here we go. So he's saying, Mantaro, please go to Earth and defeat the evil Chojin. Buffalo Man, Brocken Jr., Wolfman, Wars Man, Geronimo, Robin Mask.
Is this chapter 1 of the prologue?
Yes.
Did you read a different prologue? Because I don't remember them naming all the names.
And then Terry Man is fighting the evil guys at that time. Yeah. They are transmitting video to Muscle Planet.
Plus, I thought it was a TV broadcast, but then Terry Man talks directly to King Muscle, and King Muscle talks back.
Yeah. And then, there's a TV and a camera right next to it.
Yeah, I know. It's really funny. It's very silly.
And then the other guy comes, smashes that, and and Ramen Man is already there on the planet, on Muscle Planet.
I swear there's a thing that says
it's Terry Man who gets beat up 28 years later.
No, but I thought he tells the story that Ramen Man was the first ones that got beat up when he's describing the era of peace they're in when the evil Chojin first show up.
That's not in this part.
I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. I have such confidence in my body, and not in a way that I'm like, oh, I remember this from the show, because none of this is in the show.
I'm glad I wasn't just not paying enough attention. Okay. That literally wasn't a thing that I read.
We're not out of the woods yet. This is going to get cut down to the part where I'm right.
Is that the actual chapter 1 that happens?
No.
That I didn't read?
No. I don't think so. Because then it wouldn't mean anything anymore.
Is that in Kinnikuman that happens?
No. Talk about other things. Like, is it like... I guess it's like, I like... Besides just being really wacky and goofy, I like anything that's like, we're doing this specific, like, martial art. And I love that they call this martial art, but, like, pro wrestling, it both is and is not a martial art. Amateur wrestling is. But pro wrestling is, like... for a thing, like, you can't do the Kinniku Buster. There's a guy named Samoa Joe that does the Kinniku Buster, but if you actually jump down with somebody on your shoulders like that, you'd kill them. You'd make them into a wheelchair-bound
You'd
vegetable.
probably also break your own back.
Yes. So how they do it is he gets them up on the shoulders just the same way with their neck cradled there, and he falls back, and it's called the Muscle Buster, because that's what Kinniku means. So it's the Muscle Buster. And in looking for this, there's some Japanese wrestler who actually did it with the jump and land on his butt, but he kind of landed like back enough, because I'm just like, man, that's insane. Like, there's no way he could have done it legit. And he didn't, but it looked close enough that it was scary AF. Like, there's a lot of moves in Ultimate Muscle you can't do in life because both A, they're impossible, and B, you'd kill someone.
You can't shoot a solid iron cross out of your chest but I mean, that's just like 12 feet long.
The suplexes and the grappling stuff.
I don't like wrestling, but I do respect the athleticism that it takes to do that. And the fact that some of them are actually good actors is impressive. I think that most of the acting is pretty poor, even if the physical feats are impressive, even if they aren't like actual fighting.
I mean, sometimes they are.
So it's not that I think that wrestling is just like the stupidest, most ridiculous, and
no,
fake
but
and
it's
all
what I
that,
said earlier. It's like the spell doesn't work on you,
right?
In the same way, there's certain things that the spell doesn't work on either of us.
But I'm also a person. I don't like live music, so
Yeah,
I'm just not. I'm a different person.
You're built different, Brad.
than so many other people.
I found the mother effing page.
Is it in the prologue?
Yes, it's in chapter 1. He goes, "Oh, Terryman, are you all right?" And he goes, "There's hardly any justice chosen left, you see." And Kinnikuman goes, "But where's Ramen Man?" And Terry goes, "Ramen Man was one of the first to challenge them, and they crushed him. He was seriously hurt and went to the hospital. But since then, who knows?
Okay.
I didn't hallucinate it. You're crazy for once." Would a crazy person sound like this?
When you say that, I remember that dialogue.
You were looking at it. You couldn't find it.
But he wasn't. His picture wasn't there. They just described what happened.
They said the words Ramen Man.
And so I discused.
Correct,
from
because
that.
you didn't know he was Ramen Man because they don't tell you until the end. And I knew because I'd read a bunch of it. Whatever. Okay. It
must have been a while because he said he was training Mantaro for weeks.
They've
at
been
least.
kicking ass for a while, it seems like. I don't know. Time. We've already learned time is weird in this place, and people can just fly through space when they want to.
His poor mother. Why is she still married?
Because she's a queen.
She's pissed off at all of them constantly.
Because that's what that was back then, and I guess now.
And I'm just like, why are you still there?
I don't. Again, she gets to be a queen, and that's just what they did back then.
Queen of a barren planet with nothing on it except some castles.
Some castles? I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm just saying, back in the day, they didn't get King Henry had to come along and bring that.
Right.
No. I'm trying to think. I like the art. I like their mask design is very iconic. I'm surprised I haven't seen anybody else try to copy that with the little fin on it.
I don't even know what that's
lips.
supposed to be.
I don't know. I always thought it was kind of like Spartan helmet-y, but I never understood exactly. It was just always like an interesting visual.
Yeah. And I get that it's supposed to be somewhat reminiscent of wrestling masks, like luchador stuff.
Yeah, because he gets laced up. The thing that you learn at the beginning of chapter 1, not in the prologue, that the prologue doesn't tell you, is that when Taro was born, they instantly put the mask on him because that is what this.
But then there's another mask
do.
that his dad has, and then he has to win from him.
Okay, that part I don't know. That's
so in their match at the end of the prologues. Multiple. They're like, this is the mask that you have to put on or whatever, and he ties it to his leg, and he's like, you got to beat me to win it.
Weird. Okay, strange.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, masks are important in wrestling. If a luchador is demasked, it's a very big deal.
Right.
But also they're both already wearing masks. What's his other mask? It's the special mask. He had to have gotten new masks as he gotten older, right? His head grew. You can't put a mask on a baby
unless it's
wear
latex or whatever and it just expands.
I don't want to think about that.
Maybe their heads don't change size. They come out that big.
That's why she's so upset all the time.
Maybe. Yeah.
Fucking destroyed her cooch coming out. I'm so both with the kind of clown shoes approach to all this and knowing that we're gonna go watch that anime episode, I'm trying to figure out, and also I have a lot of bits of future vision. So a lot of this is me asking you questions. Where, I don't know what else I would say where it goes besides we get our wrestler guys and they fight the baddies, and and they're just increasingly strange. Do you want to know what one of the guys I remember is that we're not going to see? He's both a shoe. I know one of them is a shoe, one of them is a dinosaur, one of them is a cell phone. I know one of the ones who showed up later in the anime in that I don't know if he was before, but in the season, specifically in the season that the West ordered of the anime, in the original Kinnikuman, he fights one based off of a Japanese toilet, and then his son is a modern American toilet. It's very wacky and strange. Yeah. That's why I'm continually surprised that, as far as I can tell, Ultimate Muscle and Kinnikuman are by far the biggest pro wrestling manga that just exists by a country mile. And I remain so confused about that because pro wrestling in Japan remains a big thing.
I bet you could make a pro wrestling manga that was like taking it seriously and people would be on board for that.
But like I would be down for doing it and treating it like actual pro wrestling where it's a work. I'd be down for it kind of like this in Ultimate Muscle where it's presented as a real fight, and in this case in Ultimate Muscle it is. Like you could just do a slightly less goofy version of it. And by slightly less goofy, I mean we're not fighting a man who is literally a cell phone and dials things on his body
like
to do
an
things.
actual shonen battler.
And because it feels so. Pro wrestling is already a vehicle for storytelling. Just make it in manga. There's so many other martial arts manga. Like I want to know because it's like, I mean, besides the fact that you don't really like it that much, so it would be like a sports arc, but even worse for me. Like. I would have a pro wrestling arc, but there's nothing to cover outside of this and a few like Tiger Masks things and that one Isekai that we'll probably do one day because I do want to look into that. But I'm
the one with the animals.
Yes, correct. Because he was a wrestler. And I hope he does a drop kick. But I'm just so confused how there is like no other pro wrestling manga that seemingly exists at any level of popularity that aren't just like I said, like Tiger Mask or something. Like I don't know. Let's do our thinky thinks and our feely feels before we go watch this episode and have some more thoughts about everything.
Okay.
Because I feel like some of that new conversation will be both what we saw in comparison and what has the American 4Kids done to the tone and what's going on. I guess I'm doing just chapter 1 of the prologue for me. I mean, like, I think it's good. I think in the vein of I guess the episode that came out before this JoJo, it's just like, have I taken in Kinnikuman before I got to this or not? Do I know who this man is or not? Or am I coming to this fresh? And it's been long enough since that. Because it's been like 20 years. I guess a little over a decade. Because it ran until the late 80s and started again in the late 90s. So like, there's a good chance, especially if the original was in Shonen Jump and this is somewhere else. That you just have never taken Kinnikuman, but also Kinnikuman's like a really big deal. So, because I think it's one of the most earningest manga of all time. I could be semi-wrong about that. But it's a big deal. So, like, I don't know if I should come at it with like, oh, you should have a little knowledge about who these people are. Of like, oh, you came in, like, Brad, you came in fresh. How was that?
So here's the thing. I think chapter prologue. Chapter
prologue 1.
I'm going to say good.
I would say good. Like, that's mostly my thought process. My thinking was like, is this great or is this good? And I think it's good. I think it's fun. I don't think we didn't get to where
this is a good positive. Like, not like, oh, it's just good. It's like, no, it's obviously a gag. It's obviously supposed to be ridiculous, and it's doing those things, and it made me chuckle. Yeah. I didn't have a bad time with it.
Yeah. I guess I'm like, that was my thought was like, what for me is keeping it from great? And maybe it's just because it's not, by virtue of having to set things up, it's not doing the other thing that it does besides being silly and wacky and funny.
It may be that.
But I don't think that's its fault.
If you had read all of the first series, that coming to this, you'd be like, oh yeah, this is perfect. Exactly what it needs to be.
Yeah.
But coming into it fresh here, there's obviously a bunch of callbacks and stuff and a bit of missing information here and there that I think you would have had, having read those other ones.
Yeah.
And so I think it loses some points there. But like overall, it doesn't.
It still works as a getting on point.
Yeah.
Even if there's some stuff, because I think the whole intro of like them telling you what happened and all the evil Jojo and the Justice Shogun and stuff, like I think sets it up in a way they're like, oh, I'd want to check that out today, but I feel like you're fairly up to speed. So, I would say for both thinky and feely, I would say good.
For my feelings, I'm gonna say good to fine.
Okay.
Just because
not yours.
It's definitely not my thing.
No.
I don't regret reading it. I didn't have a bad time, but there's no way I would read more of this.
Yep, no, totally valid. I don't know if I would. It makes me kind of want to go see if I can find original Kinnikuman and read through that again. to more, now that I know how to find manga online better, because that was also probably close to a decade or so ago when I was still in college, but or maybe a little after that, I don't know. But just like, I'm a sucker for all this wrestling stuff. I love how goofy it is. Like, that's, again, I come back to that. It's like, it's weird that the one major place of pro wrestling is in such a goofy thing, and it's such a goofy manga. Not that wrestling can't be goofy, because wrestling is goofy some of the time, but it's just strange to me. I'm also curious. I'd be curious how many people in wrestling now, because there's so many fucking weebs in pro wrestling now. I say this lovingly. How many of them are inspired, or if that was like a specific era. Because I already talked about Samoa Joe, who's like been around for ages. Literally was just the champ in AEW recently, until very recently. He still does his muscle buster, and I got to learn from wonderful friend of the show, B, asking for as a fellow wrestlehead for more like pointers and stuff. And I think what they told me that it was like Kinnikuman when tagging with Terry Man back in the day were called the Machine Guns, and there was a tag team inspired by that in America called the Motor City Machine Guns. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I never pieced that together. So it's like funny. It's neat to see people inspired by it. But then when it's like, I wonder if anybody's taken any offense, it's like, you can't do any of this offense. It's both physically impossible and also you'll kill people. But I was like, man, something has to work here. But
it's really too bad that you would hate Nate from Words About Books, because he's obsessed with wrestling, and I think that you and B and Nate doing a wrestling podcast would be entertaining.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't like all wrestling fans. That's why I don't like go to live shows, because so many fucking wrestling fans suck.
I think he's probably on your end of the spectrum of wrestling fans, where it's like, because he covered like both Hulk Hogan books and just like shat on him the entire time. So he definitely knows, but your personalities are so incompatible.
Exactly. Somebody's working heel and somebody's working face, brother. That's how it goes.
He's definitely a heel.
Yeah, no.
Poor Ben.
The ultimate underdog. So with that, we're going to go watch the first episode of the 4Kids dub of Ultimate Muscle and get back to you then.
Which I will say, before we get to that, I do believe I have seen the Ultimate Muscle cartoon.
Wow, really?
Before. I don't remember if I've seen an entire episode.
Just the intro? I've just played the intro for you.
Well, I've definitely seen that. But I mean, like, did I watch a couple minutes of it and I was like, I don't like this, and turn it off? Or did I actually watch an entire episode, or what? So, but I don't believe I've seen the first episode.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Because that was back when you couldn't just watch whatever you wanted. You had to watch whatever was on.
You had to get in the middle. Yeah, that's just why I have a weird nostalgia spot for like getting to a story in the middle and trying to piece together what's going on in these stories. We'll come back. We'll talk about spoiler alert. All of this whole arc, banger intros. I don't care who you are. I don't care. They're all bangers. Fighting Foodon's great. Ultimus we'll talk about, great.
Oh, you didn't mention this. So we can't find the Fighting Foodon's manga,
I already talked
which you
about
said that.
Correct.
But you didn't talk about the fact that we are going to watch the cartoon anyway.
I did, for a bonus episode.
Did you say that?
I did. I thought I did. Or I thought it really hard and then you distracted me as I was talking about it.
I might not have been paying attention.
Wow.
If you didn't talk about it, I'm saying it now. Yes. We're going to have a bonus episode.
You will hear me sing the Fighting Foodon's theme, and we will talk about that episode.
Just the show. So it's not going to come out.
English version of the manga, so it'll be a Patreon exclusive.
Yeah.
Also, just going to bury the lead on this arc. We are not covering One Piece. One Piece I'm keeping for a very special day, and it's not for this one. But let me tell you, I'll do that pirate rap whenever you want. I think we did it back in the day. Love the pirate rap. The best thing. So
that's
good.
Another one we said we were going to do a Patreon exclusive of just the 4Kids dub.
Oh, okay. That I don't remember.
Yeah.
But I'd be up for that. I'd be up for that.
Because Viz is going to be on. Remember? For that?
What?
We talked about it. Viz is going to come back and.
Now I feel like you're gaslighting me.
We talked about this.
Like a billion years ago?
No, like a couple weeks ago.
I don't remember that. That was me when I was in Showtime. I don't remember anything from that time period of my life 3 weeks ago.
But that will be another Patreon exclusive.
Enough chatter. Yes. Let us go watch Ultimate Muscle. I'll come back. I'll sing the theme song. It'll be great. So, audio star wipe. audio start right back in. So hi, folks. We are 22 minutes later after watching the first episode of Ultimate Muscle of the 4Kids version.
Oh, boy.
And wow, they just, not that I mean, I'm sure the 4Kids thing changed stuff, but just like if the story, the chapters that we read was like a stained glass window and you broke it and you tried to put it together, but you lost some pieces and you got some other pieces and you put it together all mixed up. So like stuff conceptually, at a very base level, conceptually the same things happen, but also not at all.
There's many of the same characters. In fact, I would say pretty much all the same characters.
Except one in particular.
One notable missing character.
Yes.
Who is mentioned, but is not present.
And is a point that it is weird that he is missing. So, okay, so I'll try to vaguely summarize it, because it was just like, it was weird how much it was different. So, the bad guys, the evil Chojin, have already beat up all of the dudes, and all the old guys are on Planet Muscle in the castle at a table going, what do? We need King Muscle, but he's nowhere to be found. And then Ramen Man's just like, yo, dog, I know who we gotta go and get, his son. But the fact that they're all there, there's no, like, Mantaro is going, also he's just not Empire, he's King Muscle, because duh. I mean, the 4Kids dub, duh. But, like, there's no specific point of, we had so many years of peace, like, there's not that reoccurring theme, at least here.
Right, they're literally just like, he's a coward.
Yeah, he's run away. But no, the idea that they lost...
Kid Muscle is a
Oh,
coward.
yes, but they lost because they've had peace, so they've gotten weak while the evil Chojin have gotten strong.
They didn't really say that, though.
That's what I'm saying.
They literally
it's
just like, we're old.
Yeah. But like that's why it felt like such a drumming theme of that first chapter of the prologue in a while, of just like, we have to train the new generation because we didn't, because we had peace.
Yeah.
But that just like wasn't here. There's no Ramen Man in the cave. We'll get to him in a second more specifically when we get to the episode, but like Bone Killer does not come to Planet Muscle. There's no moment where Terry Man cuts an impassioned promo through the television / the phone.
In fact, he doesn't have any lines at all.
No, he doesn't talk at all, which is a bummer.
He shows up for about 3 seconds on screen.
Yes, he is on one of the. I have to make a point of the 4Kids dub because Brad was very delighted by. I was delighted. How did you feel about Robin Mask's voice? That was a very particular celebrity impression.
I mean, it's Sean Connery. It's
Sean
just
Connery.
Straight up Sean Connery.
Robin Mask is a British wrestler, so he sounds like Sean Connery. And you didn't get to hear Brocken talk, who's from Germany, who just talks like Arnold Schwarzenegger, of course. Ramen Man wasn't too racist. He wasn't that racist at all.
He's not German.
What? I mean, yes, but
Ramen Man.
Ramen Man could have been worse. Ramen Man was.
Yeah.
Ramen Man got his point across.
It's definitely a white guy doing a Chinese accent,
but he's not too bad.
But it wasn't over the top.
In the grand scheme of things, it was fine.
Yeah, I've heard significantly worse.
Oh, it's so much worse. And things after this. So then we cut away and we meet Kid Muscle in his room. He's still an idiot. Dad's missing. Mom has made him dinner, but he can only eat his favorite, which he sings a song about.
We don't actually see her face.
We see a picture of her
from behind.
You're right. So it's just interesting that they're being mysterious about it. But he sings a song, which is a reoccurring thing in the show. He will sing about his rice and cow a lot.
Okay.
This will happen again, I promise you.
It didn't happen in the manga.
No, it's very it's like that time period where characters just sang songs, and I don't know if it was in the manga as much, but it's like the I'm sure we'll cover it one day, but Zatch Bell, when Parker Fergulleri sings Hey Hey Let's Dance All Day. And it's just like a character just sings a song and he'll sing it almost every time he shows up. So he wants to eat. He can't until he finishes his homework. He doesn't want to do that. He attempts to escape.
Oh, by the way, because I was like, oh my God, I can't believe there's just some boobs in this manga.
Oh, yeah.
Just naked boobs all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Well, it's very close.
He's
in the cartoon for children.
Yeah.
He's looking at a girly mag.
A girly mag. I don't know. This is a situation where I don't know if 4Kids edited it to make it more tame.
It was,
they
was
have,
probably that tame in the anime.
because they have, there's again, I have so much of 4Kids One Piece to go off of where it's like cleavage lines were erased and more clothes were put on people, and
I didn't get the feeling.
Stuff. I didn't get it either, but they got really good at it, so I don't
guess
know.
We probably should have tried to find the
Japanese one as well. I know. But this is the Foxbox one. But this one, I don't know if the other ones will be as strange, or maybe we'll watch all of them. I don't know. Maybe that's what it should have been. I'm just watching the Japanese one and then the 4Kids one and not doing the manga at all. But I feel like it's important to do some of these manga. So he, in his attempt to escape, falls into a spaceship.
Well, he's escaping because his grandfather comes.
Yes.
And is like, you got to go to Earth and fight.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I'm going to run away. So he runs away.
Yeah.
And all of the police force on the planet is chasing him.
In cop cars that look like him and his father. The masks with the heads, and they literally have the little muscle sign on their foreheads.
And he does a really good job of getting away. He gets so far away that he ends up on Earth.
Yes, he accidentally falls into a spaceship and accidentally hits a thing that causes the spaceship to take off, and it crash lands on Earth.
Which is sort of what happened in the manga, because he falls into a spaceship with his dad. He's trying to get away from going to the Hercules training
But he ends up there anyways, right?
He falls into the spaceship, and the spaceship takes him there.
Yes. So then he doesn't do that then, but I can promise Brad, because I remember they do go to the Hercules factory and have that whole tournament arc thing, and everybody gets trained and you meet everybody. So that happens, but it doesn't happen yet in the anime. So he lands in the children's park that I only know because I read Kinnikuman, and I mean they tell you, but I know it on look, is where his dad originally was and lived. There's this little shack that has essentially is made of his face, looks like his face, that his father lived in. And it's like I said, it is a shack on a children's park.
I mean, it's literally just a single room.
Exactly. That's why I said it's a shack. So he goes in there because he's just looking around and he's hungry or whatever.
It's a lug shack.
It's a lug shack? I know you're doing love shack. What lug? What do you mean?
Is that maybe that's not the right word.
What do you mean? Isn't it like a
it's
lug?
Like a big lug.
Yeah, like a big lug. Yeah, no, actually, no, I like that. I'm coming around on it. Yeah, lug shack. The lug is out. The lug is missing, but a new lug is moving in. So he's kind of drawn to it, and he goes in and he thinks something is a fridge, and he hits some buttons on it accidentally, and it's a cryopod. And a small man comes out named Meat, who we learn is King Kinnikuman's his trainer back in the day, who helped him. You know, he was the brains and Kinnikuman was the brawn.
Which we didn't meet at all in any of the prologues.
We did not. Through looking through it, he's not in chapter 1. I think he shows up in chapter 2. I think I saw, because I was trying to figure out where the heck to put the Bowden on this.
You do see him in the prologues, but you have no idea who he is.
Yes.
He's not named. He's got no dialogue, nothing.
So he's
literally just a character in there.
He's our Speedwagon. He's our Krillin. He's our guy who's commentating and saying things. But also, we actually have commentators later, and we actually have matches. So he's in there. We learn about Meat. I love his voice because he's a Brooklyn man. I think the Japanese version of he's very high pitched, which I'm just. Again, I'm a sucker for this era of voices where people are just doing silly voices or doing celebrity impressions that are of varying quality that creates these like And
this is a good time to say, I could tell that every single person voicing in that episode was having a good time.
Okay, I have a bigger conversation of that. I need to land the summary plane first because this is going to be a continuing thread throughout this arc of the Foxbox arc. So they're in there. Meat's telling about things. They're talking. It's like and he figures out. It's like, oh my gosh, you're Kinnikuman's son. You're King Muscle's son. Like you got to help defend Earth now that everything's all fucked up. So that's happening, and then
how he knows that any of that's going on because he got
out of cryopod
literally a minute ago. Apparently he'd been frozen for 10 years and not 28 or whatever.
But like also that could have been a 4Kidsism. I don't know. So then they go outside, and the baddie that showed up in the manga shows up climbing seemingly out of the wreckage, or he was waiting on the wreckage.
It seemed like he showed up because there was a spacecraft that crashed, and he was inside it looking for who the person was. Kid Muscle is like, no, I'm going home, and he runs back inside and gets knocked out of it, and the guy comes busting out.
So in the manga, he is Bone Killer, and here he is Adversarius because he has a big plus mark on his chest.
Honestly, really good.
Which is really fucking good. And that his what was his attack?
It was an ad-tack.
An ad-tack. An ad-tack attack. That's how they'd say it. Because it's a big plus sign. Because he shoots a big metal plus sign at him. So before he's like, Kid doesn't want to fight because he's trying to be, he's like, I don't want to fight. He's very silly. Kid Muscle's a very silly guy. And in his attempts to run away, he still has his little bindle of the rice and cow meal that he got back on his home planet that he wanted to eat.
He ran away with it.
Because he was going to
holding it this entire time.
He's been holding it this entire time. And in the attack, it gets smashed, and Kid Muscle's just like, man, my mom made like my favorite meal that my mom made for me. And this is what causes him to start hulking up of like, you destroyed this thing my mom lovingly made for me. So this one they call it, the 4Kids dub calls it the power of ultimate muscle. So this is not the fire of fighting spirit or whatever it is.
He gets really angry and he decides that because this thing got smashed.
Yeah.
He's now going to he's fighting.
Yes. For the respect of his mother and also the food. But his mother, but also mostly the food. Fighting food on the ground. Thank you. Yes, sorry. You did that joke earlier, and I loved it. I was like, put it in the show as I talk over it. That's a pun that would have been in that show. I'm kind of surprised they didn't do it. Maybe Ultimate Muscle came earlier. So he hulks up. He Ultimate Muscles up. He gets super extra double jacked. And much like the manga, he does the Kiniku Buster, which 4Kids dub calls the Butt Buster, which I don't like.
I mean, it's thematically appropriate because of all the flatulence.
He does, yes. He farts, which does not happen. There's no farting. Was there any farting in the rest of the prologue?
Yeah, that's how he beats his dad.
Oh, he farts on him?
No, because the whole point is that, like, yes, King Muscle is, like, really, really strong and powerful, but the reason he's able to beat everybody is because he's not afraid to make a fool of himself.
Yeah. Man. I love just like the continuum of like, if ever there was like a man, and not like a man, like manly man, but just like men, Kid Muscle and King Muscle are just like, these are some fucking dude men. These are some gender men. These are guys classifying the archetypes, whatever. So yes, he does the Kiniku Buster on Bone Killer, and as soon as they land, he goes, I give up. But it was animated specifically because that feels like such a 4Kids. I'm like, oh, you didn't kill him. But it clearly was animated like that he just gives up. Not that he's like, oh, I'm down. He just goes, I give up.
There wasn't even like you would expect.
He didn't even let go of the whole of the Muscle Buster. He lands the Muscle Buster. There's this big crater. And while he's still being cradled in this hold while they're smacked on the ground, he just goes, I give up. And it was just like, could he at least go, oh.
There wasn't even the sound effect that you would expect of like bone cracking.
Bone crunching or any sort of muscle.
It's literally just the sound of the ground getting crushed.
Exploded, yeah.
And then they're like, yep, we're done.
That's it, I give up. And then...
See, now I'm even more interested to see the original.
Yeah. Maybe we'll watch that after this and we're done recording this and do a third part. I don't want to, but... So...
A third part. You guys will never hear that.
No.
That's just for us.
That's for us. And probably the Discord. Maybe we'll watch it when this episode comes out. Because that'll mean, because otherwise then we'll be able to talk about it on the Discord more. So the main topic that I feel like this brings up that I've talked about before that I think is going to be the running conversation throughout all these Foxbox episodes is clearly more was put into this. Not just that it's different, but in the way that the dialogue is written, the voices being used, like, they don't make them like this no more. And honest, like, and clearly, like, where a lot of the jokes that like, there is so much, just everybody is constantly doing wordplay. There's alliterations, there's puns, there's just like funny little sentences. Like it's such a thing. Like it is so clear this is something I was raised on. Like between this and Bobobo and some other things, it's like it's so obvious that I have a soft spot for this kind of just constant rat-tat-tat bits and pieces. And especially like this whole like adversarious thing. Like he was called, I mean, if I can trust the localization in the fan localization for the prologue, he's named Bone Killer. He doesn't look bone-like, and I guess he's a killer. Like, but like there's nothing about him that makes it go, oh, that's Bone Killer. Well, like there's a guy who's named, like there's bone dudes later who are skeleton killers. So it's really weird that this man is named Bone Killer who doesn't look like them.
I'm interested what the original Japanese is for this, because when I describe this to you, listener, you're going to be like, what the heck are you talking about? So I'm going to need you to go and look this up. Okay. Look up a Russian Orthodox priest. Okay. Bone Killer, adversarious, his head and face.
Add with 2 D's because it's a plus sign. I want to make sure. I know, but I need to hit it harder.
His face and his little hat looks like a Russian Orthodox priest. And the thing on his chest is a cross. So I feel like that's what they were going for originally.
I guess, because that's what I.
But that's not what Bone Killer would be either.
When we finished the episode, or towards the end of it with Adversaries, and I turn to you and I go, what is he? Everybody in Ultimate Muscle is something. I already said earlier, there's a man. We fight a dinosaur. We fight a man who is a pump shoe. We fight a cell phone. We fight a toilet. Like, we fight all sorts of things, but everybody is a thing or a concept really specifically. And this guy just isn't. And it was like, why? Like, because he's clearly something. Like, why does he have this plus? It's not like other dudes don't have things that, like, come out of them and smash you or hit you or shoot you. But it's just so unclear. But to my point, though, it's like, he's not called Adversarius. He does not have the ad attack.
Yeah.
But that's the best. And this is a comedy manga and anime. Is this an insult, quote unquote, an insult to what this show is, that all of this extra humor that has been put into it in other jokes that they probably couldn't translate but still made it work? There's multiple times where it's just like, you're rocking with what you got, and I smiled and I laughed because they were doing little bits. And like you said, it seems like, especially Kid Muscle's voice actor, everybody is having a grand old time.
Yeah.
And I think so many, like, I don't want to go, like, I always try to not be back in my day to things, but like, part of why dubs now suck is that they're simul-dubbed. They are a factory machine. Nobody has time to settle into their characters, like, or find things. It's just, who can you hire who's available for this time to get the simul-dub out now? And regardless of the talent of the people involved, that's not going to work out well.
And it's not 100% across the board like that. But it's the majority.
Because every so often I get to find like dubs that get to take their time and come out like dubs used to come out. They're pretty great. I still stand by the dub for Zombieland Saga was fantastic. I loved it. I had watched the original Japanese first and then watched the dub, and I was like, this is great. Where normally so many times I'm like, my brain tells me all these voices are wrong and I don't like this, or this seems like a completely different thing. But like here it's just like all the voices, and maybe it's because I grew up with it, but it's like all the voices made sense to my ear, and maybe it's because I've never heard the Japanese ones, admittedly, but like I'm having fun and laughing and smiling at a thing that's what it's supposed to do. Is, you know, so many people are so like, well, this wasn't here and so specific, but like there is a certain amount of like, you've more than the quote unquote, I would say the purists is not the right word because those people are insane. There's the people who think translation is math and not art, and it's art. It's literally, it can't not be art because language is not one-to-one. But like there is something to, I mean, it's the thing I always have with what I think are great localizations is that you've put the spice it's lost in translation, so you have to put new spice on there that is specific to your language. And I think that's what's happening here.
Yeah.
But also I can never speak confidently on that because I don't know Japanese. And even if I watch the subs, there's still probably jokes. Like, I still remember a billion years ago when we did the freaking breakdown of the Keep a Maid War intro. And that there was, like, multi-level, like, jokes and wordplay that we just can't do in English. Yeah. Like, just the amount of concepts being, cross-referenced at the same time.
Talked about this recently in Build King, where the one guy with the sensor monkey,
he
goes to say the name of this girl, and he says it wrong as, I guess, a nickname for her. But it's got the Japanese word for penis in it, and so the monkey bleeps that part of the word, and there's no way to translate that.
No, without her having a different name.
Even then,
even then, you'd have to get really lucky.
You'd have to it would have to be Dick or.
Yeah, I know, but how do you fit any of those in there without it just being the most? But maybe is it obvious? I don't know. But like, I love this. I'm probably going to have a worse time watching the Japanese original version because it's not going to be as funny to me. It's not going to be as charming and warm. Like, I'm sure there's bits of it that would be funny still if I didn't already know the joke. But like, is my experience better or worse? And like, I guess some of the ability that for me to be warm about these 4Kid dubs is that they don't, both in positive and negative, they don't make them like this anymore. Everybody who's making dubs is a lot more trying to be a lot lot more faithful to it. But I feel like the ones where a character's like what fucking, we've seen that. I've watched that clip a bunch of times, the YouTube little compilations of like of English Brook from One Piece just being incredible.
But that's from now.
But that's my point. That's from now. That is a guy who feels like he's just having a wonderful time in the booth.
And I think this is...
And he feels like a different Brook, but he feels like a Brook, and that cuts into my bigger thing of like, any performance, like this is a character when he's in his original source material who has no voice. He is ink on a page. He has no canonical voice. He happens to have his first voice in Japanese because that happens to be the home place of where that came from, but like that's the character has no canonical voice.
Although Japanese Brook is excellent as well.
He's also great, but I mean, I'm saying for Brook, but in anybody.
Right.
So it's like an actor already has to bring something new to a character that wasn't there in the writing because that's how acting works.
I would say
you have to bring something from you.
Yeah.
And much like the whole translation is not math, performance is not math. Something will come with you through your performance that will add to the character. Luffy, Japanese Grandma Luffy is different than English Lady Luffy is different from Inoki, whatever the heck his name is, Inaki, who's in the live action One Piece. Like, those are all different Luffys. Even if they were reading the same script, they'd be different Luffy. You can read the 50 million kabillion different times people have done Shakespeare works and can somehow, even with the same exact script, have a different feel or take on a character.
Oh, that Tempest in the Park was awesome.
Exactly. I mean, admittedly, that one changed. That is a 4Kids dub of Shakespeare.
Maybe. Okay, but here's my thing.
That was a 4Kids dub.
I think the problem with 4Kids dubs,
and again,
because there is a problem here.
There is a problem.
I think the issue is what is the source material. I think what the key is that if it is like exclusively comedy, like here with Ultimate Muscle or with Bobobo or something like that, then it's not really a big deal for 4Kids to make all these sweeping changes, because the comedy, as we saw with Ultimate Muscle, the comedy is still there,
and the action it needs to be, because it's never Ultimate Muscle is never like violent, even though if you did these moves on an actual human, it would be terrifying.
And because I think the main issue people have with a lot of the 4Kids dub stuff is that One Piece is an example. I'm not going to go too deep into it because we're going to do that for Patreon at some point. The source material is more serious than the 4Kids stuff wants it to be.
But also part of it is that original one, like the start of One Piece is silly. But the problem is so much stuff got like One Piece's DNA got changed. The amount of things that got like edited visually, things that got cut out. Like I said, later on they just cut entire mini arcs.
Yeah.
Like it was too much. But like we'll say in that episode, but I'll say it now and I'll say it again then. Like, I have such a fucking soft spot for Brooklyn Sanji. I don't think I've heard any other Sanji voice until live action Sanji.
And that's the thing.
That got Sanji. I don't like...
Right out of the gate.
I don't like subs. I don't like original Japanese Sanji. I don't like dub Sanji. They're just like different Zolo or Zoro. Again, there's my 4Kids talking.
But the thing...
But like...
Right out of the gate, the voices for One Piece in the 4Kids dub were good.
Thank you.
I do not begrudge them the voices.
Yeah.
I begrudge them the other changes they made.
Yeah.
The thing with One Piece is, And I think this is a thing with lots of Japanese things, is they mix tone a lot. And sometimes it doesn't work. But One Piece is one of those examples where it does, where you can have this wacky, off-the-wall thing, but also bring it down to something very serious.
Yes, but also, like, on top of all that, like, One Piece isn't One Piece yet at the time the 4Kids dub is happening. We don't know. I guess it was already one of the biggest things in Japan at that point, but, like, it's not. Like, we haven't even hit the time skip at that point.
I think I'm thinking specifically about the stuff that happens at the beginning with Alvida and Kobe, and then the stuff with Zoro.
And
like,
Buggy,
there's very serious things happening.
There is. I'd be curious to see how it handles those looking back. But like I said, like, a lot of, like, but also, like, One Piece is more violent. There is blood in it. People get cut, and so much of that got, blood is turned into sweat. Very Mortal Kombat. Like, there is
fucking lollipop for
lollipop. I love the lollipop. I gotta be real. But again, these are soft. Like, this is I'm riddled with nostalgia.
Right. And that's the trouble you're going to have is differentiating between do I like this because I saw it when I was a kid, or do I like it because it was actually good?
So the rest of what we're covering, outside of one in particular, aren't things that I took in that much more elsewhere. Like this and One Piece, like Ultimate Muscle is probably, outside of One Piece, is the one that I have like the biggest soft spot for. And as we go, and we have other ones I'm familiar with, but not as, like, deeply.
Yeah. And I think from my perspective, like, I definitely watch stuff on the Fox box, but I don't really remember any of it. It was really just cartoons at that point to me. I didn't really get to, like, oh, this is anime stuff until Toonami.
Yeah. I think...
Which is obviously way more adult.
I think in the episode for the last one of this arc, that we do what we are kind of saying now is we read the chapter, we record, we watch the English. Do we want to do English dub first or the Japanese original first?
I mean, if we're doing the manga first, then we should do the dub second.
After.
And then the...
Oh, no, I would say, no, okay, I'm now thinking about it. I would do the manga, then I would do the Japanese original subbed, and then I would do the English, like, because we get further and further.
I was thinking mix them.
Okay, yeah.
So
we'll
like,
see how we're feeling when we get there.
We experience it first as the original.
Yes.
And then we experience whatever it turned into.
Yeah.
And then we go, okay, did whatever it turned into actually change a lot from what?
See, that's what I want to know, because especially with Ultimate Muscle, is that the first episode in English or Japanese is vastly different than the first chapter of the manga. So that's why I want to go, here's my test control. Here's my test control with the anime, and then here's what did 4Kids do to it. I think that is more quote-unquote scientific. We're only going to do it once. I'm not doing with the other ones. I don't have as much of a soft spot.
I was just thinking it would be a better control to see what it changed into unbiased, and then examine what they did to it.
I feel like you can only know what they did to it until you have the base form. I feel like that's your test group.
No, that's why that comes last.
Why?
That's what I'm saying.
No, you do your test group first so you know what it is, and then you can see what happened to it, not the other way around.
I feel like it's tainted.
It's spotting the difference instead of unspotting them. Oh, what?
I know what you mean.
Okay.
But I feel like it's...
We'll check in then. We'll flip a coin. Because you're right. You're right with the whole, like, bias thing of, like, oh, now I think it's supposed to be this.
Right.
But also, I've seen it back... Whatever. We'll talk about that when we get there. What do you think he thinks and Feely feels in the first episode of Ultimate Muscle and the 4Kids dub?
Wow. Okay. Honestly, this is... Oh, my God. I can't believe I'm going to do this. I think this first episode is great.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's my feelings as well. I've lived my life hating what America has done to Japanese media, but at the same time, I think this is the poster child for, like, doing it right.
I need to show you the Duel Masters anime, which is a card game anime where the anime doesn't give a fuck and is really funny because of that. That used to play on, like, Afternoon Toonami back in the day, and it got me into Duel Masters, which I loved. I don't know if I have any of those cards floating around anymore.
And that's
probably
like,
not. But, like,
if I had
what
seen
a hoot.
the original Japanese anime, if I
not as bad as Ghost Stories, not as not giving a fuck as Ghost Story. That's too. Ghost Stories is honestly too far from me, but I also think a lot of Ghost Stories' crass humor is not to my taste. Right. But I like this sort of like goofy. But this and adding extra stuff.
If I had seen the original Japanese anime, if I had read a bunch of the manga, like maybe I'd feel differently.
Yeah.
But like on its own, as a thing that exists, like I had a good time with that.
Yeah.
And I don't care about any of the stuff that's going on.
Yeah.
But just as a funny thing to watch.
As clever.
Yeah.
Like I said, puns and wordplay. Like they don't do that. Nobody does that anywhere anymore.
And as much as I was like, I had a good time with the prologue that I read.
Yeah.
Not something I would keep reading, but like as something I had a good time with. You know, going into this episode, I'm just like I'm basically experiencing the same thing where I'm going, I can't quite put my finger on it, but I enjoyed this.
Because every second something funny's happening in the dialogue.
Pretty close, yeah.
I mean, not every second, but like I said, everybody has dialogue. Not that it's always like jokes, but everybody is constantly, like I said, wordplay, alliteration, like allusions and references to things, malpropisms. Like writers' rooms used to kind of be like that.
Yeah.
And that's not like, again, that's not like a thing anymore. For better or worse, in the same vein of like the weird thing of like they made the Naked Gun movies and everybody said they don't make movies like that. And then they made another Naked Gun movie. And I have admittedly not seen it, but people seem to like that one. Exactly. Because it's just like people love those movies.
Right.
Where it's just like, not all the jokes are going to land, but we're going to give so many weird, strange jokes at you. And one of them is just going to completely destroy your insides in a good way.
So this is definitely like
this is, I think, right as we started, because the I don't know if this is true of the Japanese version, is the framing of this is that they are announcers telling you about this is the new wrestling episode.
Yeah.
And I turn to you and go, God, I wish I could travel back in time and read what he's reading. Because, like, again, all the wordplay and alliteration is, like, right up my alley. And I love it. And I'm like, damn, I wish I would love to be able to do something that's like that.
I would say, like, this is not the kind of thing where I'm like, oh, I'm so interested in this story. I can't wait to watch the next episode kind of thing. Like, I don't care about it to that degree. But
this is the X Factor. This is why art can just be fun. The next time
I'm over here and you go, can we watch the second episode of Ultimate Muscle? I'll be like, yeah, let's do it.
I mean, we might learn something else we're watching from this arc, but I was just going to watch it. But if you want to watch it at some point, I'm up for that.
I think this is definitely the kind of thing where you should watch it with a friend.
Yes.
At least one, possibly more. And it's just a good time. And you get to banter and it's funny. And yeah.
It's just a fun watch that is so unlike anything we watch. And because it's dubbed, I don't have to be like, I have to focus and read these subtitles.
Right.
Like, and that's just dubs like mechanically. But like,
it's giving me a bit of the feeling of when we were going through Roboco.
A little bit, yeah.
Not quite the same energy,
not quite.
But a similar
3-minute episode.
A similar feeling of humor and camaraderie.
But no, I think this is great. I feel it's fantastic, and that is parentheses. I'm so biased. But also, like, this is a part of me. This is a part of how I grew up. And not that I literally remember this episode, but just this flavor. Yeah. They don't make this candy anymore. And I can only buy it out of really ancient eBay record.
This is not
auctions.
Made me interested in wrestling at all. But I totally understand why, especially as a kid, that you latched on to.
Because I already liked wrestling. My dad had already gotten me wrestling at this point, and then they're like, all these cartoons I'm watching, there's a wrestling one, and it was never enough wrestling that I could be like, Dad, look at this, because I was deeply embarrassed about all of that stuff when I was a child. Did not want any of them to see it. But no, I love, and I don't remember how much very little wrestling happened in this episode. It was mostly a lot of the comedy stuff, and then he does the Kaniku Buster, which admittedly I marked out for because I love the Kaniku Buster.
I'm just thinking.
I guess my buy or not is, honestly, I did back in the day. I had a DVD of Ultimate Muscle that my parents got me for like my birthday or Christmas or something.
I just have
know what happened to
this
it.
Hilarious image of you being embarrassed about watching this, like about talking to your dad about it, even though he got you into wrestling.
Regular wrestling, but this was anime.
Right.
This was different.
But regular wrestling is ridiculous as well.
In a different way. I didn't know. He probably would have been fine with it. I don't know.
Well, I think it would have been funnier if he was like, "This is so dumb."
Yeah.
Because it's like, no, your thing is dumb too. No, this is just an extension of that.
Done that. No, but yeah.
There's nothing wrong with liking dumb things.
What I buy, I technically already did it as a child. I don't know where that DVD is anymore, but seemingly all of the 4Kids Devil Ultimate Muscles on Internet Archive, and also maybe the Japanese version as well somewhere. I don't exactly. I remember where I found that one.
I mean, we have to find it now.
We have to. I'll find it again. I know I found it. But I guess Brad, your would buy is that you would watch more. You already stated that you would watch a second episode. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I know. This is not. It is
an important caveat.
Yeah, but it's It's meaningful for me to share that with this with you and do what we did and laugh and pause and go, oh man, and like like yeah. So yeah, in the future, I would.
On the spectrum of would I continue with this, where the very top end of that spectrum is I need to buy all of the volumes of this. It's so great. I love it.
Yeah, is no.
This is near the bottom.
Yes.
But it's still on the scale.
But on enough that you were smiling. It's not just like, I do it, but you were just like, it was just so specific. Like, if you said you'd watch another, I would do it in a heartbeat. Like, that means a lot to me, at least from how you're saying it. I know it's different than the other ones, and I agree with that. But yeah. Here we are at the end of the first episode of the Foxbox arc.
I think this was pretty long.
This one's pretty long. I don't think the others will be as long because I don't think I have as much specific nostalgia for all of them. But yeah.
And we don't have to have the
there should hopefully
4Kids dubs argument again until we do the One Piece.
Correct. There should hopefully also be I'm hoping the rest of them are less confusing because this one was just like between the prologue and the fact that the first episode is nothing like both the prologue and the first chapter, except bits and pieces, it would be better. So But yeah, if you've never seen Ultimate Muscle, at least go and watch the 4Kids intro. All these 4Kids intros are bangers. I've been singing it all week.
Yeah.
Big bad boys from outer space. Like there's like a not a home improvement, a Full House like saxophone that comes in later. It's the best. It's
Ultimate Muscle.
All up on Muscle Planet. Find the mask they hid. The face of our new champion. King there had a kid. Like, come on, like getting excited just thinking about it. So yeah, that's the end. Brad, put this episode in a spin toe hold. If Terry Mann could speak, he'd talk about that. He either does a spinning toe hold or he does a Texas clover leaf.
If Terry Mann could speak,
he doesn't. You said he didn't get to talk. He showed up.
Oh,
he got to cut a promo in the first chapter.
I was gonna say, what are you talking about?
He
talks a bunch.
Yeah, not in the anime. You made a point of saying that he's not allowed to talk. He's a Texian. He's named after Terry Funk, but if you look at him, he really seems like he's a playoff of the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. So he's got the hair and a little bit of paunch.
I know those names.
American Dream, baby, daddy.
We want to hear from you, so find our social media links on our website, animepodcasterreincarnation.com. The best place to chat with us is our Discord, so come join us there for a lot of fun. You can also find a link up there to our Patreon, where our supporters get perks like getting to vote on what series we cover on this and other series that we do, as well as getting the high-quality stereo version of the podcast early, and, as mentioned, which will be important, bonus episodes. So make sure you check that out. Hey everybody, about to do the Patreon shout-outs here in just a second, but I just wanted to interject real quick as I'm editing this. I am going to leave this Patreon shout-out as recorded, but we recorded this a little while ago, and if you've been listening lately, you know that we've had some changes in our Patreon membership. So before the actual shout-out starts, I just want to shout out our Royal Tier, Slimy Okra, and Imaginary Numeral. You'll find out in just a second why I needed to leave this as it was, but just know that we've had those updates. So apologies but I'm not going to re-record what is about to occur. So thank you.
I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. Isekai Sensei-Sama needs to thank our patrons. First, we've got our noble tier. At our noble tier, we've got our Marquis Sir Cake Dwarf.
Yeah, I just want to do like metal shouting.
I mean, I'm trying to go for like a Randy Savage,
Macho Man.
Hulk Hogan kind of mixture. So if you've got
Cake
someone
Dwarf.
else, you can
Cream of the crop.
you can do.
Top of the pops of the patrons.
Can you do a Rock? The Rock?
Not as much. I don't have him as auditorily. The Rock said a lot of hurtful things back in the 90s, let me tell you.
Can you smell what the Rock is cooking?
Eyebrow, but auditorially.
Also at our noble tier, we've got our Count Imaginary Numeral.
I'm trying to figure out other... Like, that's the problem, is like anytime I'm on the spot, my brain goes to wrestling, I just go to doing voices like that or doing the Macho Man thing, even though so much of wrestling is not that.
Yeah.
It's just the strangeness of wrestling.
And last but not least, at our commoner tier, we've got Rena, Last Man on Earth, and Laura Carroll.
You're going to tell me about the monster truck rally coming this Sunday. Sunday! Row, row!
So thank you to all our patrons.
Thank you, Brad. Thank you, patron. I'm just doing strong bad.
Also a wrestler.
Also, technically, he's a masked wrestler. Thank you, patrons. Thank you, Brad. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Make sure you listen to all the podcasts on our feed. And, hey, watch along to these Sword Kids dubs with this. And, Brad, I think we finally gotten this episode down for a 3 count.
Wrestling is now even more shocking. The bad guys are badder. Much more dangerous.
It's time for a little payback.
And no one can help you.
I want my mommy!
Not even mommy. What the? 2 back-to-back episodes in a full hour of Ultimate Muscle. Coming up next. Only in the Fox Box.
Well, what would you rather do?
What?
What would you rather do?
The thing that we're down here to do. It's already 8. We have to record the opening part. Watch, like I said, 22 minutes of anime, and then record more. And you know me after 9 p.m. I don't do well.
I was going to say something really mean.
Do it.
More worthless than usual.
Ooh.
That's not true. It's just the first thing that popped
No,
in my head.
that's... Brad, you're my good friend, so I'll take that as lovingly.
Ultimate Muscle.
I mean, I will, when we come back down, I will record me singing to the theme song. You're buzzing.
That's fine.
Okay, good, as long
It's
as
not
you...
going to hurt anything.
Okay.
That was just on this. That's what I sound like.
Ah. that's my heartbeat. You've been very... Are you a synth, Brad?
This is what I sound like. You don't even know what that is.
Isn't that I Can Make Your Hands Clap?
No.
No?
K-pop Demon Hunters.
Oh, okay. Like a butterbee.
Isn't it 10?
No, it's a 3-pound for pin.
What's the 10 count then?
If both of them are knocked out. Or just one of them is knocked out, it can be a 10. But usually that's like a specific match type. But usually the goal is to pin somebody for 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Ultimate muscle. Ultimate. I just